All right, cool. Just hit record. I don't really have any questions like prepared. I just want to
Okay.
chat with you about maybe we start off with what did you think initially? Maybe talk about like how we met and then kind of get into
Yeah.
what
Uh,
you thought, how it worked out.
yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of got into real estate investing in part because my cousin is a real estate investor, and um, it kind of introduced me a little bit to, some of the more alternative ways of investing in real estate. And, I started researching things like lease option as one of those
Yeah.
uh, where I could have the rental, but not really the maintenance burden of, having to deal with that. And, kind of also getting a little bit more into like, like hard money lending and some of those kind of alternative ways to make money on real estate. But I didn't really know how to actually action it. I'm not really a I don't have that eye for the good deal as to, which properties are below market and which ones have the best potential for cash flow and that kind of thing.
Right.
And so that's kind of when you reached out, and it was like it just seemed that, like, oh, I was just reading about doing lease options, and I was seemed like it was worth kind of following up and seeing what the potential was, and having you guys screen the properties and figure out a good um, investment opportunity. I think was
Yeah.
kind of resonated with me as and like, yeah, it's like I don't know what I'm doing. I needed a partner. I needed someone that could go in there and help me
Yeah.
get that first deal so that I could get some experience. Um,
Yeah. Well,
and yeah,
so
so
like you were like a perfect fit for this.
yeah.
Talk about like what your job is like, your family, like what's your life like, and why is it this a good fit for you?
Mm. Um, I mean, I guess I'm a software engineer, so I have uh, above average income level, and looking for ways to diversify. I don't think necessarily stocks are the it's nice to diversify a little bit beyond the typical 401k retirement plan. And I'm fairly financial savvy and looking for other alternative investments. I've done some stuff. You self-directed IRA, did an investment, um, in a multi-family thing that way. And looking for opportunities where I can have a little bit higher risk reward, but without the I like having a full-time job. I don't want a whole nother full-time job. I want to put my money to work for me, um, with some income, opportunities. It might be a little bit higher risk, but a little higher reward and a little more cash flow kind of thing. I think that being able to the ideal is to start generating enough passive cash flow from investments that you're like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to work because now I'm getting several $1,000s in income, enough to pay my rent and pay my food, healthcare costs or whatever. I'm still quite a ways away from there, but like I said, every little bit helps. And I don't think I'm going to get there on stocks. So I think some of these other opportunities are a great way to diversify and get more exposure and a little higher returns.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people come to that conclusion. They're like, stocks only get you so far, and it's good to diversify. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but having
Yeah.
all your eggs in that basket, which is you have no control over it, right? So
Mhm.
maybe talk about like what you've seen real estate specifically, the advantage of that.
I mean, I guess another aspect of real estate is that it's heavily tax advantaged. I think a lot of, I guess for better or worse, a lot of wealthy people have lots of real estate, and a lot of wealthy people have a lot of leverage in order with the Congress people and all the lobbyists and stuff to be able to get tax advantaged privileges that make it easy for the wealthy to stay wealthy and to um like I said, write off a lot of the expenses, write off the depreciation. At the same time that it's making money and growing in value, you can depreciate it. It's like there's a lot of tax advantages, I think, to owning real estate. And so even yeah, I guess just having a portion of my portfolio there, in order to kind of understand the tax. I'm not a tax person, but like I said, as I get more exposure in the real estate market, I'll learn more of those advantages and stuff like that. Certainly, has a little bit of writing off the mortgage interest, writing off all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
it
good to have a
helps.
good tax person
Yeah.
corner, right? Yeah. So you mentioned investing out of your IRA. So that's we could do that with lease options, which was what we love, but I don't know if we have talked, you and I,
Yeah.
about giving our investors other options. So we're partnering with, like you said, you used your IRA and invested in multifamily. So we're starting to partner. We've already done, one full deal, a 200 unit townhome complex in Kansas City. Raised, it was a $20 million raise. So it was a big chunk. Somebody else came in with about half of that fund out of Kansas City. Then the rest was raised by, busy professionals like yourself. So I wanted to bring that up and talk about that since you mentioned it. So you've done one investment, or have you done multiple?
Just the one through the IRA. I think where it was, I think I was also as I was kind of getting into the real estate thing, I went to some real estate meetups and stuff and just kind of met, and I'd been reading about self-directed IRAs as a way to, do some of these investments. So, and that was a fairly hands-off thing. I met someone where it was like, like 50K or something to, participate in the thing. And, at that point I'd reached accredited investor status. So I was able to kind of, participate. And I was like, okay, I like just use my self-directed IRA, make it all like tax-free, on the earnings from it or whatnot. And I think it, I think there was like a little, like maybe a few hiccups along. I think all these things have a little hiccups here and there where they, but in the end, it worked out pretty well.
Did they have to do
And it took a little longer to close their thing than they had expected, because I don't remember exactly. But anyway, I think it took another year or two than they had expected. But it was fine. It was in my retirement account, no rush, right? So if anything, the longer the better in some ways. A lot of these investments, it's like, I 10, 20 years, is, fine. So I don't, if you're doing it from a retirement account. I think the only thing that I was a little hesitant on doing some of the other stuff with my self-directed IRA is if I start getting more involved or, whatever that, and, like, yeah, it has to be pretty much hands-off kind of thing in order to invest without risking, like your earnings being taxed or something. So, yeah, so that was a pretty hands-off thing. And yeah, I wasn't as sure with some of this, whether, how that would turn out. So I just, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I think more potential to do that kind of investment in the future would probably be good to do another. I've also thought about doing more, in fact, it started actually doing Bitcoin through my IRA now instead, because I'm like Roth IRA, tax-free earnings, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And now that they have the ETF, I could just purchase it straight through Robinhood in my Roth, and I didn't have to like do anything super complicated. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. I wanted to mention, so, I was talking about that Kansas City deal was a couple of things. So we partnered with an experienced operator. Aspen Funds is the operator. They're kind of not necessarily vertically integrated, but they've got a partner that does the construction. So it was a value add play, needed some updates. Most of it was really nice. They just wanted to kind of level up and put in all new. So that's who we're partnering with, is experienced people. So you're eliminating or at least reducing the risk of some of those hiccups that newer
Yeah.
operators might run into, and life happens. Sometimes things go a little wonky, but it's good to have a good operator. Like I had a friend of mine who's done a couple investments through me in multifamily. The first one, Hurricane Michael hit
Mm.
as they were under contract trying to close on it, and it messed up this complex. But the operator was good. They got crews in before other groups, and they were able to get it leased up at a higher rate. I mean, it turned out great. He'd double his money quickly.
Yeah.
Not every deal goes that way, but having that good operator, it's like you feel some confidence, and so that's who we're looking to partner with. So I wanted to kind of go over that. The other thing we're doing is it's called a fund of funds.
Hmm.
So say like this Kansas City deal needed to raise 20 million. Somebody came in with 9 as it's just a fund, and then the rest was
Hmm.
raised by other people. The operator didn't have the capacity to raise the rest of that. So we came in with a fund of funds. So it's kind of like a sub fund. So we got involved with them, and like they were about to close out in 2 weeks. So we, kind of started advertising it, and it was for accredited investors only, a 506c. Um, but so the fund of funds model, we're basically pooling money, and the general partnership sees that as one big chunk. So say it was
Hmm.
500,000. I think we ended up with 250. But anyway, because they don't have to do K1s and
Hmm.
all that and go find all these different investors to come in, they kind of look at it as one big investor. So we're handling stuff in the
Yeah.
background. Because of that, we get a preferred return. So an actual higher return for our investors than if they went direct.
Hmm.
So that's
Nice.
that's nice. So we're
Yeah.
we're gonna be looking for more multifamily, self-storage, mobile home parks, just kind of all
Yeah.
the ones that are syndicated, under the syndication model. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll have to
Yeah.
keep posted on those.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see, like I said, where I could take some money from my Roth. I was actually, since I don't have a job this year, I'm hoping that, if I don't get a job for a while or keep my income low, I'll do an IRA rollover into my Roth to get some more funds in my Roth account. And then, like have more opportunity to do some larger investments in my Roth.
Yeah,
Um, and do it in a self-directed kind of thing. And
yeah,
yeah, so that'd be good.
cool. Who are you using for your self-directed IRA?
Um,
Is it New Direction?
Quest.
Quest, yeah. Quest is
Yeah,
huge. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're good. I know some of those guys. New Directions. I think they're based in Denver, but we've had Chris Tanner from New Direction on, kind of share how people can use their IRA to invest. So yeah, well, cool. This is great, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
you jumping on. I think get the wheels turning for some people that that are interested in investing, maybe don't know what they're
Yeah.
getting into, and can see a real person like yourself that actually did it. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's nice to bring in, a little bit more of that experience on, like I said, I don't want to necessarily have to learn how to bird dog properties or, like the figuring out like the negotiating the, you know, capital raise on, whatever, managing it. And so, being able to kind of throw some money at something, pretty much hands off and have someone that, I trust to, use those funds and in a uh, that I can feel pretty good about, that I'm going to get a return on the investment, so yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like we've known each other, it's going on 3 years or something now. Like
Yeah.
there's been some learnings that we've all taken from it, got through it. So
Yeah.
wasn't all smooth sailing, obviously. But
Right. And I think that's to some extent makes you even more trustworthy sources, because I know that when, there are hiccups, that you're going to be there and you're going to, help work through it, and that, things aren't always going to go as advertised, sort of thing. But, having someone that's not going to abandon you when things go south, right, is especially important when you're not the skilled person on knowing how to actually navigate all that. You need that partner sometimes, I think. So
yeah, it's team sport.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck to you. Yeah, and keep me posted on some of those, I guess, fundraise opportunities. I think that would be as like I said, I think it's, sometimes like, buying the real estate and stuff like that is, it's a little bit of a hassle on the I mean, like good and bad, I guess, like there's tax advantages to having the real estate, but then it's a little bit of hassle when it comes to the insurance and the, um, especially out of state, I had that issue where it's like I couldn't get the property, or the insurance guy wasn't, like they canceled my policy because they couldn't do an inspection because they couldn't contact me or something, and they couldn't contact them or whatever. And I'm like, oh, great, now I got to find new insurance.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, sometimes it's like, I'd just rather something a little more hands off.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
and like other IRA investments, I think are I are like where I can get that extra tax advantaged, tax free earnings in the Roth, I think would be a good place to do some more high risk kind of investing.
Yeah. Yeah. I should put you in contact with the guy, unless you got that
Yeah.
all. He like focuses on Roths.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's all I got.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I think, I got a couple months still before, Calvin, like, I haven't, we'll see how he comes along in the next few months with, rent. I assume, like, I'm guessing he won't be able to finance it if he's having a little bit of trouble right now. So I'll probably end up letting the option expire and raising the rents. I think it's kind of like last time I kind of extended it as a below market rent thing, in order to kind of, because I don't know, I was like, I kind of feel like, oh, like I feel bad taking 20K on an option, just because they didn't, but now that I've offered them a below market rent for a little while too, I feel like that, it's a little less, uh, you know, it's a little more fair, I guess, to keep the option when it expires and raise rents and see how they come along with that. And maybe if they can finance, maybe I can help them with a little bit of buying down the rate or something like that, and help them get a little bit more leverage if they need there. But because it would, part of me is like, yeah, I kind of, like I said, the Florida, having it in Florida is a little bit of a pain. So it'd be kind of nice to just, and where I'm like a little bit more, or I'm not working, it's like I don't necessarily want the if it, especially if it starts having trouble paying rent, I'm kind of, but hopefully that was just a temporary thing with the holidays. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let me know if you want me to jump in, push them one way or the other,
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
It's all good for you. So,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as like as long as he's paying rent, I'm willing to kind of keep it going, so,
yeah.
but I'll probably, like I said, it's like, well, probably, once their thing expires, if they're not in the position to, I'll do a rand adjustment so I can get the property taxes and insurance have gone up, obviously with the whole thing. So they've kind of had a little, yeah, a little bit of a below market thing for a little while now. So I think that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. All right.
and yeah, hopefully, interest rates will start coming back down. The Fed is, paused, so we'll see. I think once they start doing a like, oh, okay, we're gonna tick things down again, I think that'll, like, even with the tech companies and stuff like that, it's kind of like I think a lot of the layoffs and stuff is just like this. It's harder to raise capital for, and borrow money for, tech costs and stuff. So they're a little more stingy with the capital, I think. And, and not knowing how long it's going to last because the Fed hasn't, but once the Fed kind of like says, oh, we're going to go ahead and, drop them a quarter point, I think that'll be like yay, it's coming to an end. And then everybody will like, okay, cool, we'll start investing again.
Yeah.
um, but everybody's just kind of waiting for that recession to,
Yeah.
get clear on like, oh, okay, the recession, we missed it or whatever. But like I think right now it's still kind of like a little bit like, is the Fed gonna raise interest rates again? Who knows?
Yeah.
So
We'll see. Yeah.
yep. Cool.
All right, man.
Well, I'll let you go and have a good one and
Cool.
best of luck.
All right. Yeah. Take care. It's good catching up.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Let's see.